Hello everyone, my name is Octarian and the name of the game is Disco Elysium. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and obey. And hold on a second. There we go. Okay, so where we left off. We're gonna talk to my boy here.
Oh, sorry, officer. What do you want?
Host Almighty. He's a total bummer now.
I want to ask you about the Union.
Officer, I just can't do this right now. The Union... Oh, sorry, officer.
What? I only have one chance to ask
Worn
him.
and beaten wood.
You can revisit.
Really? See if I can load the previous. What was I doing in this one? That's right, I wanted to talk here. This is bullshit.
The once bright mural towers above you, saying, for what? A song carried on the breeze, or children laughing far away. You walk and walk these city streets and deserted coast, and all it ever tells you is cold.
There is nothing else.
Who said that?
What? I didn't say anything. What are we doing here? We keep returning and you act strange.
I'm trying to ask Revachol.
Ask Revachol sounds like an expression. And you have no idea. We should continue our search, perhaps even get a little desperate. Like, maybe we can get shovels and dig? Don't mind that. A bad attempt at humor.
Okay. So what did I do? So that's right, I went up to Land's End. This is the dead end, I didn't want to go this way. Yeah, we went here.
Is there something here that would indicate a sniper used this? The wind picks up. Fine sea foam.
I don't
we already
see
did
it,
this one.
Lieutenant W. Freighter. I don't see a person take a shot to warm his... Truthfully, it's not possible.
He looks like he's cold out here at the tip of...
I'm okay.
Technically speaking, that would be it.
Absolute idiocy. Those?
Tiomotiri was a Revacholian colony. Oh, you do? The butts you saw had a silhouette of a boy wearing a coffee hat. There, the glowing light on...
Okay. So yeah, we had already investigated that spot. Let's go. Can I go on the map? Alright, let's go to the waterfront.
Officer, care to play a game with the lonely old man? Actually, never mind. Wouldn't be the same.
Where's Renee?
The prick is gone. I can barely believe it. But he's really gone. Hell, most likely. He was an absolute Kent.
How did he die exactly?
His hungry little heart finally gave out. The dock workers found him in the guard booth this morning. Wasn't even supposed to be working for another week, but he just had to prove how tough he is.
Does he feel like he has to prove he can still pull his weight? Doesn't need handouts?
Guess he was about to head home, 'cause when the dock workers found him, he was wearing civilian clothes and not the Kuketu uniform I saw him in all the time. Sometimes I thought he was wearing it just to piss me off. Now the joke's on him, 'cause he's gonna be buried without it.
You think our conversation about his job pushed him to go out there?
No. René was the most stubborn man in Revachol. Nothing you or I could say would ever push him to do anything. The man was completely immovable.
He has doubts. But right now, he just wants to move on and not think about it.
Was he really that bad?
I repeat, an absolute Kent. Even his old army buddies didn't want him around. He was like an old viper. The only people who could stand to be around him were Jenny and me. She saw something in him when we were just kids and she never lost sight of it. And I thought if the most beautiful being in the world can love him, then there must be something worth holding on to.
How did you
We've
feel?
hated each other our entire lives. So much, in fact, that... Yes, I loved that angry prick. He didn't deserve it, but I did. You know what his last words to me were?
Some right-wing royalist slogan?
In Guillaume's time, you'd have been shot without trial. That's what he said to me. He lived a cunt, and he died a cunt. Let's leave it at that.
Here, have this.
Let me see. This was 60 years ago. We all went to that parade. Young René looked so happy, and Jenny... I'm sorry, officer. I just... Thank you. Thank you for this little memorabilia. It really means the world to me.
That was nice. A small thing for us, but invaluable to him. He probably didn't even know René had the photo.
Well, offer my condolences.
Yes. We are both very sorry for your loss.
It is what it is. Part of life, really. But to know someone for 79 years, then one day they're just gone. I just don't know anymore. About anything, really. But you must need something.
I was gonna ask about these actually.
René wasn't really what you'd call a botanist, officer. Believe me, he didn't like Insulindian lilies.
Insulindian lilies?
That's their old name, dating back to the time of kings and crests, and all that other stuff he loved so much.
Why didn't you like them?
There were many reasons, but mostly it was the communals. They called them the belts of revolution. I guess in the end, the Insulindian lilies were just another piece of the whole Insulinde. The royalists had to surrender to the Mazovian insurgents. It doesn't really matter anymore.
But you feel the dried flower in your hand somehow still does matter, although not to this sad old man.
I want to ask you about the Union again.
Officer, I just can't do this right now. The Union, it just doesn't matter anymore.
Well, alright, that's it then. Guard post.
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud. René left his uniform neatly folded on the table.
I suppose René is not going to be needing it anymore. It's a bit too colorful for my taste, though.
It's a native fork and all that.
Fantastic. Try not to wear it with other similarly colorful clothes, okay?
Snow is quietly covering the numerous wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really hard here.
How hard?
Well, they went through 6 bottles of potent Pilsner, 3 bottles of Commodore Red, and almost 4 packs of cigarettes. It must have been pretty hard.
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you.
Must have been miserable.
Yes, this scene isn't exactly ripping with joy. Let's just move on.
Mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. It's like Lady Lariche said when she opened a bathhouse in the basement of my apartment building. They can only get so far before they're aching to get back. No trouble at all, mister. No trouble at all. It's like that old saying.
Okay, nothing else to say to him. Yep.
Mr. Dubois, the word in Martinez is a certain police officer is once again happily reunited with his service weapon. Congratulations, my friend. I prefer my police officers old-fashioned like that, with a gun. You can do so many things with a gun that you can't do without one. Now, what can I help you with?
Strikers were being served the alcoholic brew. I stopped that.
I don't know what that means, Harry, but I love it. I love your initiative. Knowing you're out there keeping things running lets me focus on the big picture stuff. Don't even tell me what was going on. Alcoholic brew? Stronger? Stopped it? Strike? I'm just gonna let you surprise me, Harry.
Yep.
My. She's quite the looker, Harry. You can't imagine how pleased I am the two of you are reunited. Tell me, was it difficult to convince the pigs to give it up?
Yeah, could a little bit.
I told you she was a piece of work, Harry, but I knew you could handle it. I know my special policeman. Anyway, I'm glad you're all right and armed again.
That container, there's a mega rich guy inside.
Mega rich light-bending guy? Oh my god, how did that get in there?
Must have been in the container when someone accidentally closed the door.
Damn it to hell, Harry. I specifically told my guys to check all the containers for mega rich light-bending guys.
I think he wants to take down the proletariat.
Honestly, Harry, we might be moving a spot of drugs through this harbour, but I won't be caught transporting the light-bending mega rich. I have a reputation to protect.
Yep.
You're right, Harry. I am a socialist. I'm going to catch the mega rich guy inside the container and harvest his energy to power the harbour's fog lights. I shudder to think what you're going to tell me next, Harry.
Not for 1 second did he believe there's an actual mega-rich person somewhere in his container town.
Alright, we're gonna talk to you later. See if I can give him the uniform. That's what I kind of want to do. There he is.
Oh, sorry.
Host almighty. He's a total bummer now.
Yes? What about
Yes.
it is? I just don't know.
Hi, Ace Detective.
Well, it doesn't seem that there's much else to do for now, but...
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
She's not even asking you anything. It's so easy to just say.
The whole thing's a takeover.
A takeover?
Yes, that's right. You're not being let in because there's nothing to negotiate. The Union's taking terminal.
If they're taking it...
Green livery, changing into red, blot by blot, like a cancer of the blood, metastasizing.
Then we're talking about a war. Everett needs to let me into the harbor at once. We need to talk about this.
I can ask him to let you in.
No. It's naive of me. He sent you. This is the negotiation now. And if he does not avert his course, it will be a war negotiation, detectives.
Or is their goal? They think they can win before you even know it started.
An insane goal. Crenell has 1,000 men on their payroll. The next batch will be a platoon of 20 men and a gunship. You can't simply trick them.
I've seen the Union's forces. They are better organized than these mercenaries. They also have the support of the people of Revachol West. It will take more than Crenell to wipe them out. Wild Pines will need to send more and better equipped men. Make no mistake, ma'am. I am sure you have the money. The question is, how many years and how many lives are you willing to sacrifice?
What do you suggest I do?
It's apocalypse o'clock. Time to commence the groaning.
Maybe so, detective. But that doesn't mean we are not obliged to try and stop it.
He's right. There will be slow, simmering, hideous civil war. The beginnings of a failed state. No apocalyptic rapture. Just ugliness.
So
What
what are you
will
gonna
I do? Did I ever tell you how they discovered this Isola? During our reality lowdown?
You said you would one day.
It may be the only break we've ever caught as a species. The last one for 400 years.
Why?
The nations who colonized this Isola called theirs Muindi, the world. It was all they knew, all they thought would be. That there would be something more was a gamble, akin to another world, or life after death. The Pale was thought to be impregnable, perpetual. Irene la Navigateur, the Queen of Suren, sent 8 expeditions, one after the other, into the mass at the edge of the world. 5 of the crews did not return. 2 did, but had lost their minds.
Each of those expeditions would have been led by an admiral. Sounds like a purge. Like she was purging her political rivals.
Sounds political.
There was no precedent for such an undertaking. People thought she was punishing the admirals, or had gone mad, or both. Until after years of trial and error, and the development of a strict psychological regime imitating the creation process of poetry.
Called Volta Doma, or Return from the Sea.
The 8th expedition returned sane and intact. They told of a new continent of matter. They told the Queen and her counselor, Dolores Day, that the Pale had begun to condense, day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute, slowly raining down until it formed a vast ocean.
The air is cold and scented with petrichor. There are rain circles on water all around. Humidity crawls up your back like a piano trill. So does the lieutenant. His mouth is slightly open as he looks to the sky. The droplets feel warm, like spring rain.
This ocean?
The phenomenon has never again been encountered. For a time, the crew thought they were experiencing a hallucination. The mass hand proclaimed, "Lancielinde, Lancielinde," the signal to wake up. But they could not. They were sane and conscious, as islands began to appear on the horizon. There are 78,000 uninhabited islands in the Insulindian archipelago, officer. The freckled face of God.
You've thought it 1,000,000 times.
After life, death. After death, life again. After the world, the Pale. After the Pale, the world again.
A total shift in human comprehension of reality. On the 2nd day, a great skua was shot down above the flagship Lysergique. The bird was preserved and brought back. along with pollen. 4 years later, the Queen's Counsellor was proclaimed Her Innocence Dolores Day, the elected world spirit. The age of humanism, internationalism, and parliamentary rule followed. We were high.
Leaving us here.
On Caillou, the Pebble, the largest of the fertile, uninhabited islands of the northeast Insulindian archipelago. 4 centuries and 2 revolutions later.
So the Great Squall was the first word they saw?
The first living, autonomous organism. Proof of reality. It's the symbol of Insulinde, Detective. The coat of arms of the suzerain and the wings on the crest of the commune.
I seem to have it in for it. Or it for me, I broke one.
In your defense, it is a nasty creature who plucks food from the throats of lesser birds. Yet much like Revachol, it is also magnificent and rare. Imagine the suzerain of seagulls.
There was a sting in your heart at the mention before, when she said its name.
That was the last break we got, huh?
The nations of Mundi proceeded to discover 5 more Isolae. Or they discovered us. All in the rush of the great inter-Islary reconnection. But these others weren't uninhabited. We had to kill people there. Wipe out indigenous populations. Gunboat economies. Or they came to do the same for us. Or had done to each other. But here, there was no one but the Skua, the Liliat Sea, and the Blood Beach, and the River Esperance. It was the new world. The Mondials used it to amass the greatest concentration of wealth mankind has ever seen. Revachol, the suzerain.
What happened then?
Revolution, poverty, and the mercurial rise of capitalism.
It's raining.
It is. Soon it will be spring and everything will blossom.
The gangs will run wild, taking motor carriages, ferrying amphetamines through Coal City. Spring is tough in Revachol.
What will you do?
I will surrender Terminal B to the Union.
Is that within your means?
She puts her hand in the rain. She's silent for a second.
We will see.
Ma'am, this may well unravel property law this side of the river. If that occurs, we may never see the end of this kind of confrontation. The next time there will be 2 strikes, then 4, then 100.
What happens will happen. The age of capital has only begun. I will talk to my employers in person. We will amputate and cauterize Martinez. If you handle the situation on the ground.
We.
There are no employers. She's a member of the board. Probably a partner.
You are Wild Pines. There are no employers.
You are the citizens' militia. There are no superiors.
What? Of course I have superiors.
That's right, Detective. And next time, you should confer with them before you go setting events in motion.
Despite his words, he's not really sure whether to be annoyed with you or not. Events are already in motion. Whether your actions accelerated or momentarily retarded their progress, even the lieutenant cannot really say.
Even after all this time, I still don't really understand who you are or what your ankle is.
I have not deceived you. I told you exactly who I was. Rejoice Layton.
Are you going now?
Yes, Mr. Clare has a 2-month head start. I can't let it grow any bigger. And I've exhausted all my options from here.
Understood.
Keep the peace, and I will keep my end of the bargain.
How far along is Crenell's investigation?
The confrontation is imminent. They have followed in your footsteps. As your investigation reaches a climax, so does theirs. They are your people. Arm yourselves. Armor yourselves. Protect their targets. Violence may be unavoidable, but we can limit the casualties.
When will they make their move? Where?
Soon. I do not know precisely. They have cut off all communication, you see. They know I've been feeding you information. One last thing, Lieutenant Dubois. I've given the matter much thought and come to this conclusion. You're not an amnesiac. You're insane. I know, because I, too, am insane. I just hide my illness better. And I'm rich.
Isn't everybody a little insane?
No, Detective. No one's as insane as you.
Don't worry, madame. I am very sane.
You're overrated?
I'm overexposed, baby. My travels take me through the Pale dozens of times a year. I've got the longing, and I've got it bad.
She would die to return to it. The Pale, the past, anything one can return to.
Goodbye, another creature of the Forbidden Swamp.
Watch out for yourselves. They will strike soon.
The lieutenant watches her boat grow smaller on the bay, its white sails fluttering. With worry in his eyes, he does not know if it was the right thing to do, but he doesn't say anything. You wonder what Everard has to say about this. Slowly, the sails turn grey-blue as more oxygen gets between you.
Well, shit.
Yes?
Was not expecting her to leave.
So, the ship has sailed. Did you see it? I know you did. Tell me, what did it look like as it grew smaller and smaller when that mainsail dropped behind the horizon? Did it look like a germ? Did it look like a piece of bacteria?
His jaw is clenched, and his quadruple chin is quivering with hatred. This is decades of hatred speaking right now. You get a sinking feeling.
No, it looked like a boat sailing away. No need to be over dramatic.
You wanted us to relay all this information to her.
That this is a takeover? That I want a war? God, I hope you also told her about the drug trade. They absolutely hate getting their hands dirty with that. You can kill 1 million people, but if you do something the police doesn't like, well, then you're out of the yacht club. Goodbye, you inhuman fuck.
How do you know she left?
Harry, I bugged her cabin. I bugged her whole boat. I had cameras surveying her boat. Hell, I even wanted to bug that thermal cap, but my boys advised against it.
So you even listen to our conversations all the time?
Not me personally. I had guys recording and processing this information for me.
The Hardys?
Hell no! They'd fuck it up. They can't do anything right. I mean my real boys. My special task force boys.
Where are these boys?
They sure as hell aren't hanging out in the open with beers in their hands for the cops to question. They're pros, Mr. Kitsuragi.
So that's why you've been so forthcoming.
No, Harry. What we have is real. We're working men. This here is real.
So this is your plan all along.
Harry, I can't see into the future, We are all playing by ear on this planet. I had no idea she'd react so strongly.
Did you want me to relay info to her?
I did. I knew the negotiations would go better with police officers telling her horror stories from inside the harbour. It's scarier this way. Turns out it was a magnificent strategy. I never thought it'd so fundamentally fuck her up.
Well, thank you, Everard.
Harry, you made a conscious decision to relay that information to her. You could have kept it for yourself.
She's insane like me.
She's not insane. What did she tell you?
She's overrated for pale.
No, she's not. She's a sentimental alcoholic. They all are. Never take a drop and you'll be 8 laps ahead of those upper-class winos. Just like old Mr. Clare here. Try it. You'll be a real super detective.
I've actually been sober for a while now.
I can see that, Harry. Alcohol has left its marks, but you're doing better than when I first saw you. Rich man is shitting himself. The working class sober.
So what's gonna happen now?
What was always going to happen? We take the harbour and she fucks off to Ozon, uncorks a bottle of wine, calls her partners, and says they need to distance themselves from this nasty business before the big shit spinner splashes everyone. Only difference is the Union doesn't have to lose 2,000 men to machine gun fire.
Well, better make sure this help ends up saving lives.
That it will, Harry. That it will. As to the bad taste, please, you're not a sommelier. You're a cop. You knew something. Something big. And you wanted to see what happens when you tell someone. So you told her. Anyone who's ever been close to power will tell you. Inside information is the sweetest thing in the world. It's better than money. It's better than pussy. Money only makes you special for some salesmen. Pussy only makes you special for yourself. Information makes you special for all mankind. It's the ticket to history. Right on, Harry. What you did was participate in history. When history calls, you have to pick up. You had no choice. None of us ever do. A hard disco cop like you, I knew you weren't one to resist temptation.
You know what, detective? I am going to leave this out of my reports, and I suggest you leave it out of yours too.
Just look at the 3 of us. The 3 careless boyaderos. Good times, good times.
So what now?
Now there's a whole lot of work to do. For me and for you. I suppose there was a reason you came here, so let's get to it. What can I help my best friend and comrade with today?
Yes?
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Yeah. He is. You can't really tell him anything, I guess. Can I tell him?
Stuck in the rain in a trap?
Hey, was there something you needed?
No. I can tell. Thomas?
The Coppernado is back. What do you want?
Nothing. Got nothing else to say, I guess.
An old callbox. East Delta Commerce Center. This must be the name of the doomed commercial area.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Okay, I need another hour worth of conversations. Any alcohol for them to have? Yes, I do.
Tequila Sunset.
Alright, here's some more booze. Can you tell me the next story?
Of course. Drink first, story later.
Of course.
Not much, but it will do. The tale I'm about to tell you is an urban legend particular to Martinez. That said, I first heard it from a former bicycle courier in Coran. There are many variations on the basic story, and the details often conflict. What everyone agrees on is that nobody knows the exact nature or identity of the phenomenon.
Are you telling the story of the headless...
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. Summer of 44. 17-year-old Gertrude Het is walking home from a late shift at the harbor. It's almost midnight. She stops for a cigarette near the canal.
The streets are warmed by a southerly breeze. The lights of a passing motor carriage bloom and fade in the distance. In the harbor's dark, her cigarette is a beacon, dancing alone. The image comes to you effortlessly, as though you'd walked the same streets yourself 1,000 times.
Our heroine finds herself enjoying the peace and quiet the canal provides. What she doesn't know is that her peace is about to be shattered. From behind her comes the clattering of hooves. Startled, she turns around, and what does she see?
A horse?
Well, yes, but it's the man on the horse that's of interest here. A man...
The pause is long and dramatic.
With no head on his shoulders. Wearing a found tracksuit, searching for the legendary found cap that went missing when he lost his head.
Wait, I thought he rode a bull.
I thought that he rode a headless pig.
Well, there are many versions of this story, the most peculiar of which has the headless found rider riding on the back of another headless man.
That's spooky.
Yes. According to legend, young Gertrude Het had to endure years of psychotherapy before she was able to look at a horse or tracksuit again. And she's one of the lucky ones. Gertrude Het may have been the first to witness the headless found rider, but she wasn't the last. Oh no.
Tell him about the two feminists by the locks.
Fuck, Rosemary, they were dating. No one said they were feminists. Everyone always misremembering this stuff.
This wouldn't be the De Ponte Delgado case, would it?
What? You know it.
I read the case file. But please, go on.
Right. Early autumn of 46. Ula de Ponte and Eva Delgado are fishing near the waterlock long after the sun has set. The wind picks up. A sky already dark now blackens. Water starts falling from above. The first cold rain of the season.
Two women stand on a small outcropping of rocks. One of them is wearing a purple raincoat. Thin lines reach out from the rods into the sea. Small droplets start appearing on the surface with increasing frequency.
The women are caught in the downpour. They act quickly. Eva gathers the rods whilst Ula turns around to reach for the tackle box.
Don't turn around. Don't turn around.
When she sees something, her shriek is so violent that the residents of the nearby apartment building believe lightning has struck. But there is no lightning. Only a heavy downpour and the silhouette of the headless found rider looming on the horizon. Ula makes a run for the shore, but Eva slips on a wet rock and disappears into the cold, cold canal with nary a sound. Her body is never recovered.
What did the case file say?
Naturally, Ula de Ponte became the prime suspect in the disappearance of Eva Delgado. De Ponte maintained that it was the so-called headless found rider and that she ran, fearing for her life. During the investigation, it became apparent that there was a love triangle, the third party being some small-time businessman. I don't remember the exact details. The leading theory was that an argument broke out on the jetty and De Ponte pushed Delgado into the canal, then cooked up this stupid cover story.
Was she arrested?
No. She committed suicide before she could be taken into custody. They found her in the bathroom with a rifle, her face slowly peeling off the ceiling. Not a pretty scene.
Man, that's some grisly detail. Oh well. Here's to another case closed. Anyway, that's the story of the headless found rider. Pretty crazy, huh?
That's something. I've got an even crazier story.
Yeah? Why don't you go eat shit, Tequila? There's no way you know a better one than that.
Well, there's a crying green ape. It's very kind and green.
You always try to pick the lamest option possible. Come on, Tequila!
Who was the headless rider before he died?
Well, Tequila, that's part of the legend. No one knows for sure. There are a couple of possibilities, though. Some say he was an undercover cop who blew his cover and got beheaded by the vicious gang he had infiltrated. Now he rides, searching for his lost-found cap, plotting revenge.
O headless brother, where art thou?
Others claim he was a professional jockey who veered off course during a steeplechase, ended up in somebody's backyard, and got decapitated by an exceptionally taut clothesline.
Even decapitation couldn't stop his commitment to the sport. Are you that committed?
Personally, I think he was just some guy who hanged himself from a really tall tree, and the fall was so violent that his head came clean off. Coincidentally, at that exact moment, a horse happened to pass under him, and his beheaded corpse mounted it, where it remains to this day. But then, no one really knows.
For some reason, this does strike you as the most plausible theory of them all.
I gotta agree. That sounds the most plausible.
Isn't it? All the pieces fit together perfectly. That's how I know it's right. Anyway, to each his own. You want to hear any other stories?
Well, it's some pretty weird shit. I've Headless jockey tracksuit fits right.
Hard to argue with that, I suppose.
That's the reality situation for you. You think you got a handle on it, then blam! It throws some wild shit at you. That's why it's critical to stay well hydrated.
So what became of the headless fallen rider?
No one knows. Some say he stalks Martinez to this day, and can be seen near the canal when the clock strikes midnight.
He won't, though, because it's just a stupid legend.
Aye. I saw him one night when I was right shit-faced.
Any more urban myths?
I actually do have one. The strangest of them all. But I'll need to fortify myself before I can tell that one. Do you have anything to fortify old Doom Spiral? Tell me you got some story juice.
Not right now.
If you find any, I'd be extremely grateful.
Well, might as well.
The legend! He's back. And firstly, I got smokes and piss and a little speed to spice things up. Bottoms up, Captain.
Tequila Sunset.
Alright, here's another batch of alcohol.
Of course. Drink first, story later. Not much, but this last one is the most Martinez story I've ever heard. I've never heard it mentioned outside of here. At first, I thought it was a joke, to be honest. But I've been on the coast 8, 9 months now, and in that time I've seen at least 3 expeditions come through, searching for something.
A shovel hits the sand somewhere behind the reeds, near an abandoned construction yard. The young men look over their shoulders suspiciously. The sound of their digging seems loud in the sudden silence.
Place to call home?
No, Tequila. Most people already know where they live. It's guys like you and me that are the exceptions.
Yoski's?
Hey! Fuck you, Tequila.
Okay, what kind of expedition?
All kinds. I've seen archaeologists, gangsters, even a bunch of ad agency types. I'm telling you, Tequila, this thing's got a pull on certain kinds of people.
Certain kinds of people?
You know, obsessive types. People with predilections.
What exactly are we talking about here?
Some of those expeditions come back after a week or so, looking haggard and dejected. Others don't return at all. The first time I saw one of these expeditions, I thought they were fucking with me. There was no way it could be true. It was just too high concept, even for me. I'm not even sure I should be telling you this story, to be perfectly honest. You're in a fragile state, and it might be too much for you to handle.
I can handle it.
Okay, fine, I'll tell you. But I'm warning you, it's pretty out there. Our story begins at a legendary design studio, right here in Martinez. There was this designer. His exact name is lost to history, but in life, he was a legend. Made it big in Aranya, where he did some real pioneering work on grotesque and sans serif typography. A fucking genius, man. That is, if he even existed. Who knows? It's an urban legend, after all. Anyway, sometime later, he started his own personal studio here in Martinez. And that's when he started working on some really wild stuff. I'm talking some glass-smooth, forward-looking design language, the kind of thing that would totally overthrow the old regime, design-wise.
A paradigm-shattering revolutionary?
But then, something turned. You see, it's widely known that nose candy and pioneer graphic design work go hand in hand.
So what happened to him?
You've got to understand, the work this guy was doing was so high concept that regular amounts of cocaine just weren't cutting it. By the end, they were bringing it in by the lorry load. Now, as you might imagine, snorting that much cocaine can't be healthy for a regular human, right?
Right. Wrong. It's super healthy. Your brain tells you so. And when has your own brain ever lied to you?
Hey, Tequila, pay attention. The story goes that one day he was balls deep in work on what he thought would be his pièce de résistance, an advert so minimal it contained neither text nor images, just pure white.
Huh.
Apparently the idea was too high concept even for this genius. He dropped dead right at his desk before he could finish. His last words are recorded to have been, "It's as white as a blizzard of cocaine."
What a loss for the world of design.
I know, Tequila. I know. But the story doesn't end there. Supposedly, when they performed the autopsy, the coroner discovered nearly a quarter kilo of coke jammed into his nasal cavity.
That's almost certainly anatomically impossible. Wrong again, nerd. Where there's a will, there's a way.
That's right. 250 grams of blow had accumulated in there over the years. We're talking high-grade Saramaritsian pure. Not that cut-rate shit your grandma does. There are those who believe the designer was buried with this quarter key of nose candy still lodged in his sinuses. That's what those expeditions are looking for.
The cocaine skull.
A skull filled with cocaine.
The cocaine skull.
And people think it's here in Martinez.
Here's the kicker. This designer, this lead designer of a world-famous design studio, was born in Martinez. A local boy, Martin Martinez. That's why he brought his studio here, back to where it all began. And that's why they buried him here, too. Perhaps right under Ab's pipe there. Or probably further down the coast, or in some yard in Martinez proper. A hidden mausoleum, no one knows exactly.
No, my grandma always told me his grave lay somewhere on the islets on the bay.
This is ludicrous and physically impossible. Sinuses can contain that amount of anything.
Now, detective. Always the skeptic. My only question is, where does one get a shovel?
So, you said something about the islets?
Don't listen to him or his grandma. He's just making things up.
No, my grandma told me. I've heard other people say it too. That it's underwater. Or no, maybe it was the storm sewer.
Or maybe it's in the air. Or in an ancient step pyramid offshore.
In a pyramid? Now that would be something.
What have you learned for the other expeditions?
They're pretty vague about it in general. The gangsters like to claim they're looking for the grave of a friend, with picks and shovels. The archaeologists act all official about it, saying they're conducting serious research. Honestly, I think they're not really scientists, just rich. The junkies, for some reason, are pretty upfront about it. They just say they're looking to snort some blow out of a dead man's nasal cavity.
Honest men on an honest quest. You should join them.
By now, I'd say I know about as much about it as anyone on the coast.
What do these expeditions plan to do there?
The archaeologists say they want to put it in a museum, the gangsters say they want to sell it on the black market, and the ad agency guys say they're seeking inspiration.
Bullshit. They just want to snort it. But you could beat them to it, Harry. You could snort the magic skull cocaine instead.
I'm pretty sure they all just want to snort it, though.
And why wouldn't they, eh? Sounds like right strong stuff.
Let's find it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on just a minute. Finding it right now is literally impossible.
What?
Why?
For one, the way is blocked by that big lorry that says Delta Logistics Company on the side. You definitely have to search the area behind that lorry, too. Yet, it is impassable. And second, outfitting an expedition like that is expensive. It'd have to be a big production to do the cocaine skull justice. You need new gear, people who know what they're doing, all kinds of provisions. It's just not feasible within the economic and temporal frame of our current setup. Matter of fact, unless a bunch of money just falls out of the sky, we might never know what's up with that skull.
I have to agree. We barely have what we need to solve the case we've got now. We can't afford to run around chasing after quasi-mythical pieces of drug paraphernalia. Besides, it would look extremely bad for the RCM to be caught up in something that has the word cocaine writ large on it. The PR is tricky on this.
That's too bad.
Wait, maybe there's another way. Maybe up around the coast? Don't give up now.
Yeah, well, that's the reality situation for you. Who knows, though? Maybe someday we'll get our chance. Not that I can think of, currently.
Oh, I guess it makes sense. You have been drinking a lot.
That might be the case, yes.
Okay.
There's some tear. An empty cigarette. 2 empty no. There's
a tragedy.
He shakes his head with... Take a longer look at yourself and how you're reflected in that slick chemical rainbow. What do you see? Metaphor. It's always metaphor.
Some kind of metaphor for me?
This is more important than you. That's the blood of industry you see before you. The runoff from Coal City, further down the coast. The engines of fortune once roared here. Great wealth poured into Revachol, the Delta, as did smoke, waste, sickness, life.
What happened?
The engines stopped. The West Revacholian industrial base was dismantled after the war. Now, extinguished coke furnaces dot the landscape, a landscape despoiled by industry. Filth. This needs environmental action now.
Move on to a service industry.
Right. Here's some advice that's good for business and life. Never fight a losing battle. I'm not even going to argue with you.
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon, I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast.
Okay, that's not what I was gonna do.
Hello again.
You see that seagull up there? Remind you of anybody?
Me?
Exactly.
Why am I like a seagull?
Think
I had
about
this
the
one
seagull
before.
story. It's one of endurance. And then their paradise became no time for that sentimental bullshit. They're hustlers, getting shit done.
I am the
Own
seagull.
it. Steal hot dogs, shit in the sand.
Okay, yeah, I had that conversation with myself already. Before I lost that progress. Okay.
An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind.
I can't go any higher than that anyway.
You pick up the handset. There's a tone. The machine is operable. Calling. Still call someone.
Hello, Gerard speaking.
Hello, Gerard. Technically speaking, you're electricity. No, what you are is a surprise. Get his wife on the phone.
Hey, Gerard, get your wife for me, will you?
Who is this?
It's Pierre. Put it on. I don't like waiting.
Who the fuck do you think you are talking to me like that?
I'm Azov. Krasmazov.
Very funny, asshole.
Phone hanging. Disconnect tone. The door is closed. You hear someone in.
Wonder if I can go in here outside the hours. Ooh, bottles.
Ruination has come. The broken arches betray the once grand history of this building. It towered over the harbor until it happened. A great force from the northeast fired into the city. Heavy artillery shelled the coastline. Fired from the water. A straight shot into Revachol. The tenement acted as a defensive wall against the worst of the shelling until it was destroyed, and they had a direct firing line. The waves of the Martinez Inlet rolled over the fallen remains of the building. The dark waters obscured the better part of the remains. This is where the damage came from. From somewhere in the inlet, the cannons. What didn't fall into the ocean was used as scrap. What wasn't used as scrap was thrown into the ocean. Those arches acted as support for something greater than what you see now. Only 3 stories stand where 9 to 12 once did. Restoration has failed. What the shelling took out was never rebuilt. Underwater, iron helmets have sunk deep into the sand and the mud. Helmets of soldiers, and their finger bones too, and clavicles, littering the ocean floor.
Who did this?
A fleet, the combined armies of Occident and Grad. with Mesk volunteers, a 5-nation army, hundreds of vessels. They massed airships further down in the Bay of Revachol. The artillery was so powerful. The ships not only required gyroscopic stabilization, they were anchored into the ocean floor as well. Many are still there to this day. If you squint, you can just barely see the shadow on the water, far in the northeast. Cannons still ready to placate Revachol. Coalition warship Archer can shoot 50 shells a minute on 20 co-aligned archers. They will reach the city in 58 seconds.
You know who shelled our city?
The Coalition. But that was a long time ago. I think we should move on. It's chilly up here.
He does not like talking politics of this kind. He fears the discussion might lead to disagreements, as it often does.
Huh. Alright, so let's talk to library.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Please connect me to the Jamrock Public Library.
Hold on, officer. I've got Central Jamrock Public Library on the line, and I've already introduced you to their librarian. Connecting the call in 2, 1.
Yes, this is Central Jamrock Public Library here. How can I help you, officer?
He sounds worried, yet ready to assist. This is how people get when the police call.
Look for any information that you can provide on Billy Mijon, the reader.
Billy Mijon, you said. Give me a moment, I'll have to check our database.
On Moreau Drive in central Jamrock, in a darkened hall lit by orange desk lamps, far away from the noise outside, a middle-aged man taps commands into an old radio computer. A printout falls on the desk. Behind him, a lonely reader scours some dusty bookshelves, looking for a paperback.
Yes, hello, are you still there? I found Billy Mijon's home address, is that alright? No phone number, unfortunately.
They're too poor to have a phone line.
Home address is fine.
Here we go, sir. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33B, apartment number 20. It's in Martinez, I believe. Capeside Apartments, it says. That's all.
That's where the smoker on the balcony lives, isn't it?
Do you have any other information on Billy Mijon?
It says here that they returned their last book just a few days ago, but I wasn't at work that day.
Know someone who was?
Marie? Marie? Do you remember a reader named Billy Mijon? They returned a Tybalt book the other day. Yes, it was my colleague Marie. She said that it was Billy's husband who returned the book. He also asked for this new sci-fi release, Lowe's Radio City 87, but we don't have it yet.
Good. You have a name now.
So Billy Mijon was a woman, not a man. How did your colleague know that it was her husband?
Marie knows Billy. She's been working here longer than me. Sometimes her husband returns some books for her.
And then goes for a little drink later. On the lookout.
You know the husband's name?
Sorry, no. Marie only knows him by sight.
Can you describe to me what he looked like?
Marie! She said it was an older man, and that she's pretty sure he'd had a drink or two the last time she saw him.
What was he wearing?
1 second. Sorry, Marie wasn't really paying any attention to that.
Thank you. That's all from me. I have no other questions.
Happy we could help. Goodbye, officer.
Anything else you need from me?
No, that's it.
57, over and out.
In the cabin, you see.
Interesting.
You hear someone walking up.
I thought I saw Stefana in there. I guess not.
A weathered brown door. The number reads 20. Something smells good. Soup allongio. The lieutenant motions to you to go ahead and knock. This is the door. You already know it's the right door. This is going to be so hard. Get yourself together. It's just police work.
Before we move on, what should we expect?
You're right. Let's talk this through.
You hear some light footsteps and what appears to be a daily weather forecast playing on the radio.
We have our first preliminary identification. In all likelihood, the deceased is the husband of Billy Méjean. We need to confirm this, as well as deliver the death notification to Billy herself. Now, delivering a death notification is never an easy task. There's a reason why it's often called the most stressful part of our job. This is why it's usually done in pairs. You got this. I'll be monitoring reactions, ready to act if necessary.
You have any advice?
Dad, just don't say that you know how they feel. You don't.
Good advice. The lieutenant motions towards the door.
Hello? Who is it?
And someone turns down the radio.
Is this Billy Méjean's home? This is the police. Please open the door.
The police? A moment, please give us a moment.
Tidying up. Nervously. There's fear in her voice.
Come in, the door is open. It's you from the bookstand. Did you come to bring my cockatoo back? I don't think I introduced myself properly. I'm Billy. Would you like something to drink? Tea? Lemonade? We're out of coffee.
The lieutenant has taken off his foggy glasses and is busy cleaning them in his handkerchief for now. You're on your own here. Condensation. From stepping inside. He must feel vulnerable without his glasses. Is this why he's letting you take the lead?
I'm not really here for tea.
Is this about Victor, my husband? Is he in some kind of trouble again? I can come pick him up in the station if that's what. No, this is something much worse. Is he in a hospital? How bad is it?
How about some small talk before you break the news?
How have you been?
How have I been? You're not here to discuss me. What is this about, officer?
Can't write a scene without knowing the actors. Ask more. Get comfortable around her.
You live with Victor, your husband, right?
It's me, Victor, and the kids here. We have 2 daughters, Jenny and Jolie.
I remember you mentioned them for the book stand.
Mm-hmm. They came home later. They're good girls.
Where is everybody? I don't see anyone home.
The girls are staying at their friend's place tonight. And Victor is out.
Oh, where?
He has a problem with drinking. And so he disappears every now and then. He's probably in the parks drinking with his friends. I sent him to the library a few days ago, but I guess something came up.
He made it to the library?
No. I guess I'll find out when he decides to come back home. It shouldn't be long from now. He's never gone for more than a few days.
The name of the library?
Oh, it's in Jamrock. The one at Mayrow Street. I don't know the official name.
Central Jamrock Public Library?
I think, yes, if that's the one on Mayrow.
It is.
What was he supposed to do in the library?
Just to return a book of mine. Why? Why all those questions, Detective? Did he...
Do something? Break something? It's a fool's hope.
Was it the Glinting Cur by M. Tybalt?
Yes.
Do you remember what he was wearing when you last saw him?
His old leather jacket.
Can you describe it, please?
It's just your average brown leather jacket, but he bought it as a teenager, so...
It reminded him of his teenage years.
What about the inner lining?
Yes. The lining is hand-sewn. It's blue. I tried to make the thing more weatherproof since he's running around with it in the middle of winter.
She folds her hands across her chest. Here it comes.
So, here we go.
You've done this before. Just keep your focus.
I'll just say she's dead like that.
Yes. That's the most important thing. Use that word. No euphemisms. This is what you came here for.
It's hard to say. Your husband, Victor Mijan, was found dead on the Martinez boardwalk.
What did you say?
A great and terrible spike. The blood freezes in her veins.
Your husband is dead. I'm very sorry for your loss, man.
Oh. Oh. But he was just...
But he was just here. Alive.
We understand this comes as a huge shock. I want you to know that me and my partner are here for you if you have any questions. Take your time, man.
What happened to him?
It's so early to say, but it looks like he slipped and hit his head.
Was he drunk?
We don't know yet, but we will let you know when results arrive.
I see. And you just found him there, lying in the cold. How long had he been there?
If you say 2 days maybe, it will be etched in her mind forever.
It couldn't have been long.
She blinks, eyes welling up with tears, as her hand starts searching for something from the pockets of her dress. The handkerchief.
Here, take this.
Yes, thank you.
Is there anyone we could call for you? A friend, a family member, someone who could be here for you?
No. I just need to tell my girls.
It burns like acid. Unreal.
God. Should I call them? Should I tell them to come home?
No. A day.
No, take some time to recover. Can we be better prepared for when they come home tomorrow?
Good. That's probably the right thing. Thank you.
She can't take much more. Her stomach is churning. Soon she will have to go to the bathroom and scream.
Just tell me, what do I need to do next? Where is he? Can I see him?
We've taken him to the city morgue. The local coroner will be contacting you shortly to arrange the funeral. Here's his number in case you want to contact him earlier.
A very good call.
Is there anything else that the RCM could do for you?
No, I'll call you if something comes up. I'm still... Thank you. Thank you for telling me. I'll call if...
These are her last reserves of strength. Her muscles will give in soon. Already, she starts to shake.
Again, I'm very sorry, ma'am.
We should step outside and talk. You did well.
What now?
I'll call the station when we're finished with the day, and let them know the name of the deceased.
What about Billy and her kids?
They'll manage.
They have to. It's not your place to live their lives.
Guess that's it.
That's it. We should get back to our case now that our duty here is done. Let's go.
You look south, over the crumbling balustrade. There, 1.2 kilometers away, a piece of broken stone cuts into the sky. A tomb. On it, a mural that used to say, "Tomorrow is just a whisper away." You cannot really see the felled building from here, but somehow you feel like you should return to it.
Radio it in, maybe?
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Just a moment.
10-4, come in, officer. Over. Roger that. 10-10.
I guess I couldn't just tell him. Alright. Okay. Still got some time. Let's see what the wind has to say again.
The once bright mural towers above you, saying,
See if I can up that shivers up a bit. Let's try it.
The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical, R&D. Tomorrow is just a whisper away. For what?
Damn.
A song carried on the breeze, or children laughing far away. You walk and walk these city streets and deserted coast, and all it ever tells you is cold. Probably a good idea.
Let's try again.
The once bright mural towers above you, saying, suddenly there's a sigh carried on the molecules around you, moving, flowing from high pressure to low pressure, like that of a woman emptying her lungs. She wraps the collapsing stone box in front of you in her breath, flowing through it.
Where does it go?
In through the collapsed roof, flowing down a concrete staircase to the basement, sweeping away footprints in the dust on the stairs, and then the beach below the boardwalk, its winding tunnels, a whisper away.
What's happening?
She's down there.
I think she's down there, below this building.
Okay. Why?
Ever since I woke up, maybe even before, I've been getting these strange cold spells.
Good, good. Yes. Cold spells. So basically your hangover is telling you she's down there?
Yeah, I can talk to my hangover. That's how bad it's going. No, you know what? The wind told me.
So, how do we get in there? The doors were on the collapsed side of this building. They're gone, basically.
Finally, my time to shine.
There's a ladder next to the sign. Perhaps we can climb and enter through the roof.
Perhaps you can climb them. We are not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old, and I plan to live to see 70.
There has to be a way to use brute force. Climbing sounds unsafe. Brute force is safe. Look around and find something to break if the ladder fails.
There's the pipe. Alright. Let's put on my good coat. I don't have much for savoir-faire, do I? No, I do not. Okay.
A rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. Some of the rungs are missing.
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all.
The distances between the remaining rungs are rather wide. You'd have to use the mounting brackets. However, they seem corroded and the peeling rust is razor sharp. In addition, the first rung is going to be tough to reach. It's what, 3 meters above the ground, and you're 180?
Sounds about right.
Not to mention that the roof is collapsing and the wind gets pretty brutal up there. Dismounting from the ladder is going to be hard. Perhaps if you were to not climb the ladder. Instead, what if you were to reconceptualize climbing the ladder? Astral projection. Be open-minded about this. The distances between the in addition, the first, not to mention, what if you were astral projection? Be open-minded about this.
What if I don't climb? What if I teleport?
Teleportation is not a thing.
Even if it isn't, no one told you.
I don't remember, it's not.
That's not how physics work, detective. And even if it were, wouldn't you need some kind of apparatus? A teleportation field or...
What are they talking about?
Teleportation, Mikhail. It's generally thought impossible.
Oh yes, it could hurt. A lot.
Let's teleport.
All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate. Darkness enfolds you. You can feel the distance between the bench and the first rung of the ladder. All you need to is... Zoot, zap, pow, crinkle. It's like magic. You feel yourself disappear, your atoms fading out of existence.
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
Bam! You find yourself on the roof, having mastered the art of physical displacement.
I did it, Cam. I just teleported.
I just saw you climb the ladder. You just climbed it like a regular person.
The wind at the top of the building starts howling loudly, blowing away the lieutenant's voice. Faintly you hear...
Never mind. Find a way to let me in when you get inside. Don't go adventuring with a backup, especially if we think the suspect may be hiding here.
Here we go.
Two rusty metal plates that slide apart form a crude door. It's been here under the boardwalk for a while.
What do you mean, who's there? It's me, Kim. Stop playing around and help me get the door open.
The doors seem to be on rails, but they've gotten jammed. You grab a side and put some strength into prying it open. With the help of your partner, the two metal panels slide open with a creak.
Huh. I hope no one dangerous heard that.
How'd you even get here?
After you climbed up to the roof, you mean? There's a maintenance entrance under the boardwalk. It's next to a drain pipe, possibly a storm drain. It was easy to miss before.
He's quite proud of himself.
Well, at least now we know a quick way in and out.
Yes, we have an exit, so let's get going. Time to investigate these passages.
Alright, so next time we'll investigate this mysterious building. Until then, let's do I do the stream. Alright. Haiku of the stream is... Cheery eventide when a Persian warm king moves, despite the pebble. Excuse me. And that'll be it for tonight. Well, I might do another session later. But that'll be it for now. Later.